Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Delaney's OK Tire Langley inbox inundated with shots of Joe Cap from back in the day in the 60s. All of today's guests are brought to you by, and that includes Craig Button standing by, the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Book your stay at the Bayside. Enjoy the many amenities the hotel has to offer. Oceanfront rooms, free parking, oceanfront restaurant, cafe, indoor and outdoor swimming pools, gym, and more. Call 250-248-8333 or go to their website, BaysideResortParksville.com. We got Craig? TSN Scouting Director Craig Button joins us. Friday, NHL trade deadline day. Craig, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I am great, Donnie. How are you and Rick today?
Good. Very well. Very well. Before we talk about the trade deadline, what went wrong for Lindy Ruff in New Jersey, and how do you think Travis Green is going to do in his second go-around as an NHL head coach?
Okay, let me touch on the positive with Travis Green. I'm a big Travis Green fan. I think that anytime you go through the experiences that Travis went through as a first-time head coach, both positive and negative, only helps you in your second job. And I think that he can do a really good job with the New Jersey Devils. Obviously, they make a change with the hope that he can do that. And I'm happy for Travis. And just on that note, I really believe that he has really good NHL head coaching qualities. Now, what went wrong in New Jersey? Two things: injuries that had nothing to do with Lindy Ruff, Hischier, Hughes, Dougie Hamilton out for long stretches of time that really hindered them, and the general manager failed them. Simply put, no goaltending. It was a problem last summer. It was a problem in August, September, October, November, December, January, February that had nothing to do with Lindy Ruff. That's the failure on the general manager. Tom Fitzgerald, who's done some really good work in New Jersey, failed here. And he says, well, we all got to look in the mirror. No, Tommy, you got to look in the mirror because you not only failed your coach, you failed your team.
In Vancouver, Craig, Nils Hoglander has 19 even-strength goals for the Canucks. He's averaging under 12 minutes of ice time per game. More even-strength goals than Connor McDavid and Brad Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk. What do you think he'd be capable of given more responsibility, more ice time?
It's always a great question, Donnie, and we see what somebody does with that, and we trying to extrapolate what he could do with a little bit more ice time. You watch Nils, and I've watched Nils for a long time. I've watched Nils since he was 15 years of age, and you think about last year down in Abbotsford, and certainly having to go and work on his game, find a game that could translate to success at the NHL and help a team be successful. And I think that Nils has come back and been a really good, solid player for the Vancouver Canucks, and that's not easy to do for a young player. And he did it, and he did it with determination. It doesn't surprise me because Nils has always been a determined, competitive player. Now, you put him into different setups and different matchups and different situations in the game, and you see how he can excel. I think what he's earned is that he's earned an opportunity to be tested with a little bit more ice time, maybe a little bit, and see how he can handle it. Because there's absolutely zero reason, in my view, to say no to giving him a little bit more greater opportunity. You don't have to jump him up to 16 minutes, but see how he handles it. See how he handles the game, get up against other good defenders, see how it works, and then go from there. And I think that based on his play, the even strength play, which has been really strong, a really successful Vancouver Canucks team, see what he can do. Nothing wrong with expanding a player's role after you've seen the player be able to show the capability to do different things and do them really well.
Craig, it's the biggest week of the year for a lot of rumors anyways. Tons of them out there. You know how crazy it gets in Canadian markets. Okay, if you're the Canucks right now, what are you thinking? They do want to add a top six forward. They don't want to part with the first-round pick. They don't want to part with Mackey and Willander, but they're in on names. Like, how do you juggle all that this week, Craig?
Yeah, and that's a good – I love the word, Rick, juggle, because that's what you're trying to do. And you're not only juggling that, you're also juggling where's your team at? How good is our team? How much better can we be? I go back to the trade deadline last year, and it was a very different narrative around the Vancouver Canucks. They had just traded Bo Horvat. Then it didn't lead into the deadline. They go and trade the first round pick they get for Horvat. They get Philip Roenick. What a brilliant move that was, and that was looking forward. And you've heard me say this for a long time. Until the blue line improved for the Vancouver Canucks, they were going to have a hard time improving as a team. Roenick, Ian Cole in the summer, Carson Soucy, trade for Zadorov. You have said that we knew what a great player that Quinn Hughes was, but now the blue line was better balanced and way more capable. Then they go and get Lindholm. And Lindholm seems to me to have really kind of found some rough patches in his play and question. I've watched Elias for too long. I think he will find his game. So now you're looking at your team and you're looking at what can we do to strengthen our group, a very good group, a very strong group. And I would not be trading Lekaramaki. I would not be trading Vilander unless I'm getting something that's going to be fairly young, reasonable in terms of contract and term on it. That's the only way I'm doing that. Now, how many of those players are available? Very, very few. But that's where I would be only considering those guys. After that, I think that you try to be creative. You try to look at ways that you can satisfy. So I'm going to go right to Jake Gensel. So, Jake Gensel, who Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin and Rick Tocchet know intimately on and off the ice. And we talk about a second-line player. I think he's a first-line player. That's okay. You can mix them around. So what does Pittsburgh need? Pittsburgh needs prospects. They need some draft picks. You get Gensel even for a short term. I don't think you're getting a blue-chip prospect for Jake Gensel. I wouldn't be trading a blue-chip prospect for Jake Gensel. And that's what Vilander and Lekaramaki are. So does Mikheyev fit for them? Does a first-round pick pay off for them next year? The Pittsburgh Penguins, if they don't finish in the bottom 10 of the standings, they don't have a first-round pick this year. They traded it to the San Jose Sharks. So is there something like is there a Mikheyev that helps you salary-wise? Is there another prospect that the Penguins would be interested in? That's kind of the scenario that I would see playing out and being creative. I think if they had their first-round pick this year, that they could make that offer, and Pittsburgh would probably be inclined to consider it seriously, if not accept it, like they did with Lindholm. But that's where I think the balance comes. This is a really good team, and I think if they can get that second-line winger, and I know that Mike Johnson has felt that if they could get another defenseman on the right side to ease a little bit of the burden on Myers, strengthen that side of it behind Roenick, that it would be something that would really help the team. So those would be the two areas that I think that they could really look at. And they've shown a capability of being bold, creative. That's what it takes to take your team a little bit deeper into the playoffs and strengthen it at the deadline.
Craig, we've seen some good hockey players leave Canada the last few years. Tkachuk, Gaudreau, Luc Dubois. Not in Vancouver, though. They got Pettersson locked up. What did you think of the deal?
I think I really thought it was going to start at 12. I did. I mean, 11, 6, 12. I mean, maybe I'm splitting hairs here, okay? But I really believe that Elias I don't believe he's a superstar. And you watch him play and what he means. And certainly that number, I think marketplace is totally real good recognition of his value in the marketplace. And I think it signifies that for the Vancouver Canucks, a really good deal where they can carry forth with Elias as a centerpiece for their team and be able to fill out in other areas. The salary cap's going up. You got JT Miller on a great contract. You got Quinn Hughes on a great contract. So this allows the Vancouver Canucks to consider different things. And I think that when you look at it, I mean, JP Barry said on your show, he said there was a little bit of a distraction. We needed to get it off the table, and they did. And I think that serves everybody exceptionally well in this scenario. Elias, the Vancouver Canucks, the marketplace, in the Vancouver Canucks marketplace, that is. And I think it's a fantastic deal for everybody concerned.
Craig, we'll talk to you next week. Like Rick said, you're going to be busy up until you're always busy, but especially so up until Friday. Thanks so much for doing this, sir.
Yeah, you have a great day.
You bet.